All right, ready? Thought I'd make a beard video today. I typically make one every 5 or 6 months. It's not an update video, my beard. It's more of a how-to video and all of the tips and tricks that I've learned over basically 10 years of constantly having a big beard. And I always like to throw in a couple new things that I've kind of picked up along the way since the last video I made. But yeah, and if you haven't watched any of my videos before, I don't script them and I don't really have an agenda. I kind of ramble and try to hit the important points that might be a little off-putting to some people, but that's just the way I do it. I'm not on YouTube to have a huge following or make money. I just do it whenever something pops in my head. I'll make one, and I have all my videos on my channel. They're all over the place. The stuff I just make videos on what I'm interested in, and one of the big things I'm interested in is a beard. And when I first started growing a beard, all the information out there was pretty much the same, and I've pretty much done the complete opposite of what most beard how-to videos tell you to do. I've learned my own way, and it's worked really well for me. So I'm just going to get into it. The first thing is the way most beard how-to videos have you growing a beard probably might work for less than 10% of the population. They'll typically tell you not to, let your beard grow for 4 to 6 weeks, and then you trim in the cheeks, then you trim your neckline in, and then you have a beard. Most people, most men obviously, don't have like a real dense, uniformly dense beard. And when I first started growing a beard, it was horrible. Like into my 30s, I was lucky if I had a goatee, and it was not a full goatee. It was like literally a thin mustache that would come down, and then I had a little line in the middle, and I trimmed all this out. And I kept that for most of my 30s because that's all I thought I could do. I mean, I would let if I went on vacation or whatever, I would not shave, and it would start coming in, and after a few weeks, I'd end up cutting it off because I just didn't think it looked well. But one of the things that I've learned from growing my own beard is that the hair on your face doesn't all grow at the same rate, the same speed, and the cycles for which it grows and sheds is totally different based on the area of your face. And I think I've seen a couple studies on it, but not a lot. And a lot of people would have you believe that your beard just grows, and that is completely untrue. And I have my own theories about growing a beard that I haven't necessarily read at places. I haven't really done a lot of research of my own. Ever since I started, I kind of follow my own path now, and my own, what I've basically learned from growing a beard myself. First off, I'm a firm believer that the areas that you allow to grow will definitely densen up and thicken up over time. That's why I believe most guys can grow like a mustache and a goatee, because if you're anything like me in high school, first thing that started growing in was a mustache, so you would let that grow out, and you wouldn't shave it. And then as you got a little older, you'd start noticing your chin would start to get hair on it, and then you'd grow in the goatee. And most guys stop right there because the hair on the sides of your face it just doesn't come in as thick, and the cycle is much longer between cycles of when it grows and sheds than the front of your face. So I'll try to explain that more in a little bit, but if you look at most guys that have a decent mustache and might have a goatee, because that's the areas that they've allowed to grow in since they were young. And by allowing that to grow in, it does get thicker and denser. I'll give you a prime example of what I'm saying here. I had a mustache as a kid, and then I had the goatee, but I never allowed this area here to grow in. It just was really sparse and thin, so I would just always constantly shave it out. Well, when I finally committed to growing a full beard and just not caring and just not looking at it, this area started to fill in. I mean, all of it's filled in, and now it's all filled in. Now, it's only about this long. This hair right here is only like an inch and a half long, and I have not trimmed this in like a decade. So this hair grows, but it grows super slow, and the cycle for which it grows is very big. So like, think about the most dense area you have, which is probably what most people, their chin. Now that hair will grow super fast, it falls out, it grows back super fast, it falls out. Like the cycle is very small. It's like nee, 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 nee. This hair here, it grows super slow, and then it might fall out way down the line, and then it grows super slow. So if you trim this area in here, you may not think it's even growing because it's growing so slow. For me, my mustache is another area. I have a good mustache, but it grows super slow. But it initially grows, it almost seems like it grows fast, but it reaches a terminal length. Well, who knows if it's really terminal, but I'm also a firm believer that you can have parts of your face where the hair starts out growing fast and then will slow down as it starts to get longer. Like, I have not touched my mustache, the length of it, since this whole pandemic started. So that was for me in March. So I got March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and now we're halfway through October. That's almost 8 months, and it is only maybe an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches long, and I haven't touched it. I used to always, once it got to my lip, I would trim it, but I told myself I'm not going to even touch it. So I haven't. So it started out growing pretty fast, but then it has slowed down. I think it's still growing, but just at a super slow rate. So the important takeaway from this is your face, the hair on your face grows at different rates, and the cycle from which it grows and sheds is different based on where it is. That's why I think most guys they give up on growing a beard, because their cheeks, like, they might have a couple patches, or what they'll do is they'll trim it super low because, you're along your jawline, the hair is typically denser. The further you get up your face, the hair gets more and more sparse. So guys will do like the chin strap beard. I'm telling you, that's a bad idea. You need to let this whole area grow in for a very long time. And then after 6-8 months, a year, then you determine where you want to keep your cheek line. I went with a natural cheek line for a very long time, and my natural cheek line is actually about right here, and then it kind of drops down. And to tell you the truth, I liked it for a while, but I see growing a beard as like a marathon. It's not really like a quick foot race, and you gotta go with a beard that you know that you can maintain easily, and it's not gonna frustrate you. And one of the biggest things that frustrated me about the completely natural beard was just it would look unkempt at times. Like the hair on my cheeks, yeah, I mean, it was higher, but since it like was up here and it like dropped down and attached, that hair kind of like was all over the place, and I'm constantly like putting product in it to try to like flatten it out, and it just went in different directions, and it just didn't look clean to me. So I picked a beard line that was dense, and then I kind of created sideburns, because my beard it's literally just a bunch of hair and then it attaches up here somewhere. So I created a line on both sides, and I maintain it. Now, here's a new tip that I've added since the last time I made a video, is I used to do it with just little disposable Bic razors. But when I did that, if I wasn't paying close attention, I would bring the line down a little lower on one side, and then I have to bring it a little lower on the next side, and I'm got major OCD when it comes to like my beard. It needs to be, even. And I fixed it. The first time I made it perfect. From that point on, what I do, and I have to do it every day and sometimes twice a day because my beard does grow fast. I bought one of these. This is a foil shaver. Really inexpensive. I think I got this at like CVS, and it was like $20. And I keep it charged, and this is how I trim my cheeks now. I don't have to worry about when you're using a foil shaver, it will only cut really short stubble. If it gets even a little bit long, this won't catch it. But what this does is it keeps me from making mistakes. Like I can just hit it and I can go into my beard and it's not going to cut my beard. It only takes down the stubble. So this is a huge asset to those of you who want to grow a big beard and maintain a cheek line without screwing it up. So the first time you cut that cheek line in, and it shouldn't be right away, it takes a long time for this hair to finally fill all the way in. And like I said, the further up your face you go, the slower the hair grows, and the cycle from which it grows and sheds is so much bigger. And if you are constantly shaving this area, you may miss whole areas of growth. Because sometimes I'll just do a little experiment. I'll just go like a month without trimming any of this, and even at my age, mid-40s, I will still see new growth in areas that I never had it before, just by letting it go and not touching it. Because the hair follicles, when you have new ones, they come out, they start a little lighter, and then if you have dark hair, they'll darken up and get thicker and more robust. And I still do that sometimes. I still, every once in a while, will notice new growth, especially in the cheeks. But this is the cheek line that it keeps my brain calm, because it comes down, it attaches into my mustache, and it's a good swooping line. I feel like it just follows my cheeks, and to me, I don't even look at it anymore. I just get up, put my beard product up. Well, actually, my whole beard routine I'll go over in a second, and that's changed too, and it's helped out a whole lot, because this is the longest my beard, I think if it isn't as long as it's ever been, it's getting close to that. I don't really take measurements, but when I have done it, the longest I think was like 9 or 10 inches in length, and that's really not that long in the grand scheme of what people can grow. But terminal length for different people is different, obviously, and when you think you've reached terminal length, you probably haven't. It just, as it gets longer, it just appears to be growing slower, and it may be growing slower. It's just a part of it. So I don't plan on cutting my beard, and in the past, the only reason I did cut it, the length, was because I'd start to get the split ends and stuff, and I think I fixed that problem, which I'll go over in a second. But again, the foil shaver is going to be your biggest friend as it comes to maintaining the cheek line without screwing up the line you work so hard to develop in the first place. So the do's and don'ts. Like I said, I do tend to ramble, and as things pop in my head, I mention them, and I probably mention them 2, 3, 4 times. But that's just the way I am. So the big do's and don'ts when growing the beard are: don't assume that your beard's going to grow all at the same rate, speed. Areas that are going to grow in faster along the jawline, the chin, and the mustache may start out growing fast, but it will slow down. I've only seen a few people that have that legitimate mustache that will continue to grow at the same rate. Most of the time it will slow down after a couple months. This area right here, for most people, I'm a firm believer that it will fill in for you, but you can't touch it. Like once you're resigned to the fact you're gonna grow a beard, don't touch this touch this area ever again. It's not gonna get super long. And if you want it to fill in, it's years for this area to fill in. It took me years to fill in underneath of my lip. Some people have the genetics to have that full, but I would say most, if you want to look at a weak point on most guys, it's literally underneath of the lip. And I'm a firm believer that it's weak because they can constantly carve out that area because it's just not strong in the first place. Your chin's always going to be your thickest area, but the further up your face you go, the thinner it's going to be. So when you go to create that cheek line, that should be like a 6 month to a year process before you even think about cutting in a line, because it grows so slow. So that's basically, I belabor that point. Went over the foil shaver for cutting in a line. Also, in the back here, I hate it when guys will just take a clipper and cut straight down the back. The hair back here, it's very important to keep because it kind of like ties in your beard. And when you do that artificial line down the back, I just don't feel like the beard flows anymore. And guys, once your beard gets to be a couple inches long and covers up where your Adam's apple and stuff is, stop cutting that line in. I would almost say if you want to have a big beard, don't ever cut a neckline in, because I consider the neck hair to be your foundation. It's like the footer of your house. It's going to support the rest of your beard. And if you cut in a neckline that's high, your beard's not going to hang right. And this just holds your beard up. So when you have all that hair under there, and for me, it is all just a big old wound up mess under there, but I don't care because it holds my beard up. It's not, I could sit and pick it out, don't really care about it. It's just basically there to hold your beard up, and don't even worry about trimming it. Just leave it and let it just sit there and hold the front of the beard up in the back. So go into my other trimming accessories. I always keep one of these on hand. It's just a regular, this is another, this is a wall. It's a stainless steel model. I keep a little guard on it to do my eyebrows, because my eyebrows, once you get in your late 30s and 40s, they start to grow. And I leave the guard on it, and every 2 days I'll just go across them with the guard on it. That way I know it's the same length all the time, and it literally just in and out. Easy process. Now, I also obviously shave my head. Biggest godsend in the world was this Remington trimmer. And this is made specifically for shaving your head. It's got like this, you can look at it from like upside down. It's got a curve to it. And you gotta clean it well because it does get clogged up, but literally you can just sit and just trim your head. And I hate using a razor on my head. I hate the way it feels when I'm done. It's too close. It kind of like I go to put a hat on, it kind of catches on it, and I get ingrown hairs and stuff like that. So this gets it close enough. It's not like that bald, shiny head. I don't really go for that anyway. I don't mind seeing some of the hair stick through. And I hit this literally like every other day, and I'll look my routine every day is I get up early, hit the gym for like an hour and a half, come home, and before I jump in the shower, I'll do this. You know, start at the back, and you got to kind of work against the grain, especially because your hair usually goes. I'll start at my neck, work my way up, work forward, and but yeah, you got to pick one of those up if you shave your head. You could do the job. I used to shave my head in the shower with a razor, but I said I hate that. I hate the way it feels. I don't like it being shiny. It's kind of tacky. The hats kind of catch on it, and I don't mind a little shadow as long as I do it every other day. So you can pick these up on Amazon. It's a Remington, but just look for the head shaver, and I've had this one for like 3 or 4 years, and I can do it in less than 5 minutes, my whole head. So those are my shavers. I was going to go into what some of the things that have changed with me are my beard products. I used to make my own beard oil, and it's fine. I noticed as my beard got longer, the beard oil became less effective, meaning I'd first put it on and it was fine, but literally a couple hours in the day, it would just evaporate. And the thing with beard oil too, is it would get on my clothes, and the oil, I'd have to scrub my shirts and stuff to get the oil out. It leaves stains. So, and because it would evaporate by the end of the day, I started getting split ends in my beard, and that would ultimately lead me to trimming my beard. So I dropped the beard oil and started experimenting with different heavier beard products. I think beard oil is fine if you have a really short beard, but once it starts to hang from your face, you need to go with something that's a little thicker. And I've tried a ton of products. I like products that are easily available and are cheap. And I have two products that I've kind of settled on, and I kind of rotate back and forth, and I'll explain to you why. The first one I use on my beard is called Cremo, and it is Beard Balm Scruff Cream. You can buy this at Walmart. Super cheap, big, nice can. It's a good consistency. You don't have to like warm it up in your hand like some of the beard balms are almost like a wax, and you gotta like rub your hands together and kind of like get it to liquefy. This stuff is more of it's a cream, and this has kind of a minty smell to it, which I like. So I have that one, and then my all-time favorite, also you can find it at Walmart, is Everyman Jack, and it's beard butter, and this is sandalwood. Sandalwood smells so good, very good, and it's also the same consistency as the Cremo. Now, the great thing about this stuff is I haven't put it in my beard since last night, and maybe it's too much information, but I'm a very routine oriented person, and every night before I go to bed I do my cardio. So I'll go in the basement and I'll ride my recumbent bike, I'll pull the Concept 2 rower, Stairmaster, something like that for 45 minutes, and then I'll take a shower, and then I put the Cremo in my damp beard and I go to bed. And I wake up in the morning, it's still there, I can still smell it. I've already been to the gym, sweated, and come home, and my beard is still very hydrated. This is my night before I go to bed. Something about this is just a little heavier, and I use the Everyman Jack. Like now, once I get done with this video, I'm gonna go take a shower and then start my day, and I put this in as my daily beard butter, and it stays in my beard all day long. It allows me to shape it. I sit and do this all day. I kind of like it's my beard is actually blocked off. It's the same length across, but I like to kind of pull it forward to keep it all in one like solid piece. I sometimes will actually comb it forward and actually shape it forward, and then sometimes I'll like let it hang down or whatever, but I like it to be just look tidy. And since I've kind of picked up and used these products and these different devices, the beard battle hasn't been nearly as bad as it used to be. It used to be a constant battle of me feeling like I need to trim it back, or change up the shape, and I haven't felt that at all since I've kind of alleviated the stresses, which were the cheek lines and constantly have to cut them in with a razor and then screwing that up, or the beard drying out and getting split ends and feeling like I got to trim it back. So anyway, I've rambled on for 23 minutes. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to drop them in the comments below. Like I said, I started growing a beard probably in my mid-30s. I didn't feel like I had really that great of genetics for growing a beard, but I firmly believe that a lot of people have much better genetics than they think they do. It's just one of those things where you just got to let it all grow in. And once it's grown in and those hair follicles have matured, there's certain areas of your face you just can't trim anymore. So if I were to trim my beard back, I'm never going to touch this area. Probably won't touch the mustache. If I ever trim anything, it's always like the areas that are going to grow fast, which is like right along the bottom of the chin. But don't just take a set of clippers and just go over your face, because you're going to find yourself you're back at square one, especially with the area in the front. And this also leads me to another point that I'll touch on before I go, is if people look at you straight on, your beard's going to look the best when you're looking straight on at someone. So you want the front of your beard to be as thick and as long as it possibly can. So you always want to let this hair grow in here. Let your mustache grow in and get as thick and dense as it can, because you can also hide weaknesses with a longer mustache. A lot of guys have issues with it tying in. Luckily, I don't have that issue, but like if you got like a gap here, you can grow your mustache down over it. You let this hair grow in. It just makes your whole beard look thicker. Like you don't have to have super high cheek lines if the front of your beard is dense. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Hopefully you take something away from this video. And again, thanks for watching and bearing with my ramble. I'll talk to you later. Bye.